International projects at the Birmingham School of Art sees our students at level 5 in the second year of their undergraduate studies working with a whole range of partners across the region and beyond to work on a whole range of different projects. With an artist called Laurie Ramsell, who has an exhibition at Birmingham Open Media, and Laurie's making living material with the students in which they're going to kind of make work around, and Laurie's interested in ideas of what it means to be human.
My practice is concerned with bioethics and looking at biological material and gene editing and the sort of concerns that come with that. I'm always really amazed at how receptive scientists are to want to work with artists. The biggest thing that they find difficult to do is to relate their ideas in a vernacular way to a mass audience. That's where I come in really, and that's how they utilise me and how they see this visual language that I can work in as a benefit to their research. So this project was inspired by a guy called JBS Hallidane, who talked about the new advances in gene editing, creating this infinitely plastic human. When I started the project, I put forward ideas for the students to run with, and really they've just gone off and they have such a more personal take on it, from redesigning hip joints so that they don't dislocate, to looking at fertility within couples, designing wombs for men to carry babies. So it's been a really remarkable project, and to see such personal outcomes from it is fantastic.
A little further afield, we have a project in Tipton, and that's with Public Artists Limited, who are a public art commissioning agency. It's a partnership between John Andrews, who was a property developer, and then Joe Capper, who's an artist. And they are working on a long-term scheme at the Tipton Gauging House.
This building was used as effectively as a weighbridge for canal boats. We don't do that anymore. So then it's trying to reimagine and come up with new uses.
Students bring excitement and I think in terms of the way that they, and a naivety which is really healthy I think, and sometimes when you're working on a project and you get bogged down in sort of making those plans and progress and sort of trying to make it happen, somebody coming and asking a sideways question that sort of knocks you off your feet a little is really healthy.
Working with students from a creative discipline is really interesting and stimulating because there's always fresh ideas and fresh thinking.
Working with students in a project that's happening that is real and sort of has difficulties felt like a really useful and valuable thing to do.
Well, the most obvious one is the School of Art Archives, and our students are working with Bridget O'Gorman, who's the Wheatley Fellow for 2016-17, and she's interested in some of the historical material that's contained in the School of Art Archives. A group of students are working with her to find information or material that they are also interested in and that can become the catalyst for new work that they produce.
When I went into the archives, I started to look at the photograph, and the first thing I sort of noticed were how a lot of the students were white, and obviously how it's become a lot more diverse now. In my own practice, I'm quite interested in my own identity and how I sort of fit in the world, and especially in the art world. When you're a minority, it's a lot harder for you to produce work and to be recognised, I think. My idea was to create this character, and she was a Pakistani woman who would have came over to Birmingham in the 1950s. That was the time when migration was sort of most prominent. The work that I created was around some embroidery pieces that I'd seen at the archive. For this module, we've been working alongside Bridget, and it's been really useful working with her. I think it's really important to sort of work with people that don't really know your practice. She has really interesting input, and she makes you think about your work outside of how you originally see it. It's always important to sort of work with people that actually do work in the industry that you want to go into. This project has helped me kind of learn about my own practice. I feel like I've been able to explore my interest a lot more.
So I chose ceramics because I wanted to try something different and working in sculpture in general, so I decided to try a different medium. I knew it was very versatile. I've been able to come up with more ideas. I spend more hours in the studio than I do at home probably, and it's kept me busy.
Surface decoration or...
Working with Mark's been really interesting. He's done a lot of different projects and he always has a lot to say about them, and then he's really good at giving you other ideas and like introducing you to different artists and stuff and places you can go to see different works. Like, it's been really, really interesting and good to work with him. You never know what you're going to get with ceramics because you don't know. With firing and glazing, like anything could happen, so it's always like a surprise, which I quite like.
We have a school dinners project which is in partnership with Grand Union and Kay Winwood. Students are curating but also making work around what we hope to be the first annual School of Art dinner.
I've always been interested in the curation practice of socially engaged practices. Within that, there's a tendency towards using food. Food is just like a material, an artistic material, so it's looking at the kind of viscosity, the physical properties of food, and how that can be embodied within an experience. For this event, we're looking at the notion of intoxication and how that taps into kind of sexuality, sensuality, and performance. The students have worked really hard to kind of conceptualise what they might want to do in one dinner. Some of the things we do really challenge diners to think about food in a different way. The same as contemporary art challenges people to look at art in a different way. So it's evoking those kind of same experiences.
We're working down in Milton Keynes, and actually the partner on that project is me. So I, as a practicing artist, have been commissioned by MK Gallery to make some work around the 50th anniversary of Milton Keynes as a new town.
I think rather than on the building, let's scrub that out of buildings. I think that gives us much more to play with.
There are 11 students working also in response to Milton Keynes as a place. So I started by introducing my interests, but very much with a view that they should completely ignore those if they're not of interest to them. So I'm often working with archives and collections to find information, and it's always something that I wasn't looking for that becomes the most interesting thing. So I think it's about, again, the students working in that way, of being open to possibilities and opportunities.